Well, I will call the September, no, that's not right. The November 1st, 2016 zoning board of appeals meeting to order. We will identify ourselves for the tape recording. I'm Jim Went, I'm the chairman of the board, and starting down on the left, we'll work our way down. So we have Mr. Agresta, our planner. I'm sorry, I threw you up. I know.
Will Agresta, town planner.
Robert Sirocco.
Marion Callow.
Dominic Benicia.
Mike Pinto.
Ed Maini.
Brian Godden, alternate.
Andrew Marone.
I will note for the record that this could be the first time in 5 years that not only have we had a full board and 3 sitting alternates, but all are present and accounted for this evening. So thank you folks for being here. It's been a long time since we've had all hands on deck. So the regular members will be seated this evening unless anybody is going to disqualify themselves for that. And we've clarified, and you should have in front of you our current roster of membership, and welcome to Mr. Is it Marone or Maroney?
Marone.
Marone. Welcome to Mr. Marone as our new alternate. Our first order of business, and we haven't been able to do this in a long time, is election of officers. So if we want to do that now, we can. If we want to wait till after the hearing, we can do that. But if we're prepared to move ahead while we've got the manpower or membership power here, we will pursue that. So I would entertain a motion for an election of chairman.
I move that Jim Went remain as the chairman.
Second.
Are there any other proposals? Seeing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I thank you for your confidence. We do not have presently a vice chair, but it's listed on here. Is that a part of our bylaws? I would entertain a motion to nominate a vice chair. Does anybody have any motion to make?
Not really.
Can I make one?
No? Nobody?
No, we need somebody.
What's that?
We need somebody.
Let me ask it this way. Is there anybody that would be interested in pursuing that position?
The only thing that vice chairman has to do is sit in for you if you're absent.
If you're
right?
absent?
Correct.
If nobody's gonna jump in, you wanna nominate me, I'll jump in.
All right.
Okay.
I nominate Mr. Sirocco.
Mr. Panicia makes a motion to nominate Mr. Sirocco as vice chair. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Maini. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. He is approved unanimously. That'll feel
Thank
promoted.
you.
And now we have secretary. Currently is Marion is our secretary. I would entertain a motion for that position.
I move.
Dominic so moves to reelect Mrs. Callow. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Sirocco. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All right, we are, wow, that was a long time coming.
We just get to do that in another couple of months, but that's okay.
I was going to say, can we just carry this forward now since we've been in arrears for about 16 months? All right, having dispensed with the formalities there, we will begin our public hearing. I'll ask our secretary to read the notice of public hearing, please.
Zoning Board of Appeals, Monroe, Connecticut, notice of public hearing to be held November 1st, 2016. Notice is hereby given in accordance with Connecticut General Statutes 8-7D that the following application will be the subject of public hearing in the Town Hall Council Chambers, 7 Fan Hill Road, Monroe, Connecticut, on Tuesday, November 1st, 2016 at 7:30 p.m. or soon thereafter to hear testimony, public input, and receive correspondence concerning the following. ZBA-2016-06, file number 1386-12, Meadowview Terrace, assesses map 82, lot 30. Application of property owner Louis Batista for an area variance of section 3.1.6A of the zoning regulations for property located in the residential and farming district 1, RF1, to permit a front yard setback of 42.3 feet in lieu of the required 50 feet for construction of a second-story addition and an addition to the existing first story with a covered roof at front entrance. Complete details and copies of all related materials associated with the above matter are on file and available for viewing at the Monroe Planning and Zoning Department offices, published in the Monroe Courier Thursday, October 20th, and Thursday, October 27th, 2016.
Thank you. Before we begin, since we're all here, I just want to go over something quickly that we've talked about in the past, but for the benefit of new membership. When we are seated for the public hearing, all of you have the opportunity to ask any questions you want and participate fully in the hearing process. I would just ask that as we go through the application, I can recognize whoever's speaking. We are recording, so just let me know if you want to ask a question. I'll recognize you so it can be asked, so the recording is clear. When the time comes for us to be in our deliberative portion, when we're actually voting, there's only 5 of us that will actually vote. And in this case, since all 5 regular members are here, those would be the 5 of us participating. The alternates would only be discussing and voting if they're sitting in for a regular member. But even if you're not doing so during the public hearing portion, you have every right to ask questions and be part of that discussion. So having said that, we will open up file 2016-06.
Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Russo.
Chris Russo, Q&R Associates LLC, 1 Post Road, Fairfield, Connecticut. On behalf of Louis Batista, the owner of the property located at 12 Meadowview Terrace. As was stated, we're here for a variance to the street line setback from 50 feet to 42.3 feet. Basically, right now there's an existing single-family home. It's 1 story. It's actually only got about 950 square feet of living area in the main residence, and then there's an attached garage. It is a undersized lot in the RF1 district. It's only around 24,000 square feet. And what the applicant is looking to do is merely fill in this indent here on the 1st floor, which you see right there, and add a 2nd-story addition to it. It will not go beyond that current line that you see right there. It will just fill in that indent. He's going to add on the 2nd floor. It's really keeping in with the neighborhood there on Meadowview Terrace. Meadowview Terrace is a very older street. A lot of the homes are old, and a lot of them are very, very close. I took some pictures just so you could see. Let's see. So this is the home directly across the street. It's a newer home, and as you can tell, you can see how close its garage is right there to the street, and this house looks directly onto my client's property. Here, let's see. This is another home just down the street. You can see very close to the street line. It's another one at the end of the cul-de-sac. And the whole neighborhood, even though these renovated houses are all very close to you can see the mailbox there. I tried to get the street into it, but you can see how close they are. And just submitting for some variances that were received to the record for some of the neighbors' properties. At 4 Meadowview Terrace, the street line setback was reduced from 50 to 37. This was back in '88. That garage that you saw, the street line setback was reduced from 50 to 12.5 at 11 Meadowview Terrace. And at 18 Meadowview Terrace, which is right to the north of my client's property, their setback from the street line is 36. So compared to further from the street line, and it's still a very, here, I'll submit this in, there's copies. These 3. I can also pull them up. It's still a very modest-sized house. My client's going to live there with his family. This isn't a contractor who's just coming in and flipping a property and getting right out of it. So he's going to invest in the property, make sure it looks nice. It's actually reducing the nonconformity by removing the oil tank that's oddly located. Let's see here, pull it up. See, the oil tank is located just right there in front, facing the street. It's a significant upgrade of the property to the neighborhood. This is probably the house in the roughest shape on that entire street. And you see, my client wanted to respect the street line setback, so to add more space in on the second floor, he went back instead of going front. So really, he's just, nothing is going past that current front of the house. Everything is just filling in that portion, and then everything on the second floor is from there back. So he's not trying to put an overhang over. He does, the only thing he's adding is a covered porch. I can show you, you see on your elevations, that is a covered porch in the front entrance. As you can see, it's a nice design, it's really a good looking home and a significant improvement to that property. And happy to answer any questions. It's pretty straightforward. Try to be as succinct as possible for
Okay,
Cubs and Indians fans.
we appreciate that.
Before you go into your questions, if I can, obviously I have a memo. But in addition, based on what was submitted, there are also other properties on the street where there were similar variances requested and denied. And the other thing.
And denied, you said?
Yeah, some were denied. The other thing that you should be mindful of is that each property has to stand on its own relative to a variance, and the uniqueness of the property is the measure, not that whether other properties actually have a variance.
If I could just, I also have a petition from the neighbors, the direct neighbors to the left and right, and across the, two neighbors directly across from this property who support this application. So we can submit that into the record.
Very good.
And just to answer those questions, I do, you know, the two tests are, will this substantially affect the comprehensive zoning plan of town Monroe? I would say it doesn't. This is a significantly undersized lot for RF1, and it does not negatively impact the neighborhood at all. That's where a lot of these, some of the variances that were denied, there was one variance that was denied for a neighbor where he wanted to reduce down to a 0-foot street line setback. So that was a particularly egregious request. But, you know, you can see compared in the approvals that I submitted, this variance would actually be farther back than a lot of the variances that were granted. And it is certainly a unique neighborhood in that a lot of it was built in the 1950s. They're just building on the current foundations. There's no basement here. They're just building on the slab that is here. And a lot of the buildings that have been renovated on there just stayed on the current slab. It didn't move back. If my client moved back to the 50-foot, he would be the one that was non-conforming with the neighborhood, because I don't think anybody on that street meets the 50-foot setback.
Would you like to express to us the hardship that you could say exists here?
Well, the hardship is that it's pre-existing non-conforming, and that these houses were set up before the zoning regulations came into effect, and my client is not trying to extend and go into here except for the covered porch, which is just a kind of architectural feature that you see now. But otherwise, he's going back here, and he's going from the line back, and so he's just looking to go straight up and fill in this small area. There's no stairwell, obviously, in the current building, so in his floor plan, he has a stairwell right as you come in the front door, which you see in most houses today, and just to kind of make room here, he wants to fill in this area, so it's not, so you don't come in and then the stairwell's right there and the door's basically right on top of it, so.
So that's the reason why you don't have the front entrance indented, because there's not enough room?
There's not, it would really make it tight where you put the stair in there, and just to make it, just to make it flush right there. It's really just a small little area that he would be filling in.
That's not, it's the second story, that's.
And then the second story going up. But on the second story, he's actually not filling in that indented area. He's really just going from where it is now on the first floor straight back.
Chris, can you show on your other plan the edge where the existing house is, or the 50 feet is?
You mean on the site plan?
Yeah, on the site plan, show how much of the addition is really, how it's only a small portion of the front of the addition. That line right there.
That line right here is the 50-foot setback line. So it's already going to 42.3 feet here. He's going straight up back. except for filling in this little small area here and putting on the covered porch.
Can I see that petition that was?
Oh, sure.
Does anybody else have any questions?
And the neighbors are obviously thrilled to get this property
Oh,
fixed up.
certainly is an improvement.
Just about anything I think would be an improvement, but it's.
And you said the oil tank was going away?
The oil tank will not be in the front.
So that's an existing non-conforming condition that will get reduced?
Yeah, it will be
Okay.
reduced.
Where are you,
It's not a good look.
where are you placing the oil tank?
Where's the oil tank gonna go?
It's gonna go inside the garage. Inside the garage.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? None? Anything else, Mr. Russo? Right.
No, respectfully request your approval of this application, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you. I don't see anybody here other than the applicant, but I'm going to ask, is there anybody here that wishes to be heard on this matter? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing portion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is this, my copy of the memo looks like it has an original stamp on it.
No,
Does
they're
that
all
need to go?
that
Oh,
way.
there- It's a color copy.
Mine's like that.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, it's
good.
a
I just
color
want to
copy.
make sure it didn't need to get
That's
back in the report. So before we, just want to make sure everybody has a chance to see that, and we'll get that back in the file before we lose track of that. Okay, so going back now to our item C on our agenda, deliberations, our first matter of business are the minutes from September the 6th. Those of us who are here, we had, so everybody had a chance to take a look at the minutes from our last meeting. Got them here.
I move to approve.
Motion made by Mr. Panitia to approve the minutes. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Sirocco. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Opposed? None, they are approved unanimously. I will now entertain discussion on this last item that we just heard, 12 Meadowview Terrace. Thoughts, comments, motions? Any of those things?
I have no problem with it. Actually, they're making it a better house than it is there now. So it's actually enhancing the neighborhood.
I agree with that completely. The neighbors are on board, it's not encroaching very far into the setback. The balance, the majority of what they're doing is behind the setback line, they're cleaning up, I think it'll be a vast visual improvement for the neighborhood personally. And obviously, the nearby neighbors are in support. It's not on a scale that they're getting closer to the street except for the porch, which makes it look nicer.
And their indentation, just to give room for the stairs going in, so
Mhm.
that's, I could see that.
Is that a motion to approve?
Before you go there, give a little discussion that, can we have a little more meat to that, because getting better is really not the rationale for.
No, I think,
That was just my,
Yeah, no, I agree with all that, but I would like a little more rationale than, on a hardship level.
okay, taking the hardship, somebody else could jump in.
all right, I can add some comments to that, but I think we can certainly flesh that out, but before we have further discussion on that, I think we should get a
Sure.
motion on the table.
I'll make the
Is there a
motion
motion
to
to
approve
approve?
as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. I think the elimination of the oil tank can be argued as a reduction of an existing nonconformity. I think the fact that the house was built prior to the zoning regulations establishes kind of a unique hardship in that they're not, and for the most part, they're keeping the same footprint that exists, with the exception of that front porch. It's consistent, I believe, with what's been done in the neighborhood. It's not out of character or out of scale with the other houses in the neighborhood. So that would be my,
Well, we have this problem in that the regulations did change and made everything stricter. And there's a lot of houses in that predicament. But we can't have a blanket thing that any house that had prior existing shorter setback automatically can get approved. I think we have to look at the total picture of what is there and what happens, and I know you say that you shouldn't be taking it to place an improvement, but certainly for the good of the town, that is an improvement.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, that solely shouldn't be.
Yeah, I know.
What now, we're taking just this application, so.
Right, yes.
No, I agree with you,
Yeah.
but you know, this is not a circumstance where they're pushing it farther forward on the
Yeah.
basis of it being an improvement. They're working the best they can with keeping the same footprint, and their additional increase in the footprint, with the exception of that front porch, is going to the rear, which does comply. So the vast majority of their proposed improvements do comply.
And the garage is already protruding into the setback,
Mhm.
much, and that's staying the way it is. There's nothing being done with the garage, right?
Right.
I mean, the other character issue to the neighborhood is that this is weird that it has this flat roof.
Yes.
And even if you would just put up a roof that was pitched, you'd still be in this situation, so.
Right. Yeah, really, there's not much
I
they
mean, if
can
he just
do.
wanted to put a pitched roof, he'd have to come into us?
Yeah, because there's a bit of the structure which is in the setback, so when you put the pitched roof, portions of the triangle, the roof
Yeah.
would still be
It would
in.
even protrude even more than it is
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, all in all, the addition proposed is enhancing the property.
Mhm, I agree.
Yeah.
Now, it is the second story that's also protruding, it's not just a porch kind of
Listen,
awning?
Yeah, there's a line.
We're in deliberation.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'll circle back. You're not technically sitting for that, but I'm happy to answer that after we're done. But yeah, there's,
Oh, we can't have a discussion during it?
correct,
Okay,
that's correct.
Sorry about that.
That's quite all right.
All right, so I'll ask the question so we can,
Yeah,
so they can
go ahead.
answer. The fact that they're going up and not, going up is not encroaching upon the setback in any way.
Right. It's
They
new,
still
it's
have
it's
to
the second
go
floor, even if they weren't pushing that porch in or filling in that little notch, that strip across the front, there's a dashed line noted, going across through the existing house, which is the 50-foot setback.
Okay, so
Anything,
upstairs.
anything new that's on the street side of that line would need a variance.
Yeah,
And the height is still within the regulations, am I right?
Correct.
yeah, it's only a two-story building now.
And is most of the properties on that street don't meet the new
I don't think
requirement?
any of
No,
them do.
I don't think any of them.
The zone didn't exist at the time the houses were built. The houses predated the zoning regulations, so when they drew the map, set the zone, they set it at an acre standard, and this is about a half an acre.
And in fact, when they did the acre standard, it was a 30-foot setback. And then sometime later, it got changed to 50.
Okay. Yeah. To make it even worse, yeah.
What is the actual setback, is it from the house right now?
The setback is 40 feet from the garage and 40 feet to the front of the garage and then 42.3 to the proposed porch. He can't answer.
No.
We closed the hearing, sorry.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anything else to discuss? All in favor of the motion to approve, say aye. Aye. Opposed? None? It is approved unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Do we have any other correspondence or issues to discuss? Anything coming up for December? Not on the radar screen yet?
Nope, there's none.
Okay. Well, with that, we will adjourn. Thank you all for your time and attention.